An absolutely gorgeous Monday afternoon brings us to Donley Field for the first time in almost 2 years as the Grayson County Cougar baseball team looks for their first win of the season against the Meade County Green Wave. Last week, the Meade County Green Wave defeated Grayson County in Bardstown. That was then, this is now. Revenge is in the air for the Grayson County Cougars. And a good afternoon and welcome here to Donley Field. Sam Gormley with you today. So we appreciate you taking the time to join us here on K105 Digital Productions. Grayson County enters with a record of 0-6. It's been a rough start, but as they always say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. For Grayson County, the start can be put behind them if they can rattle off a couple of wins here coming up this week. We'll introduce you to both Grayson County and Meade County coming up. We'll bring in our guest color analyst for today's game as well. And we'll give you tonight's starting lineups as that comes up and more right here on K105 Digital Production. Welcome back here to Donley Field. Grayson County taking on Meade County here this afternoon. Meade County Green Wave enter with a record of 5-1. As I'm joined now by our color analyst, Briley Napier, Cougar baseball legend behind the plate. Briley, when I mention Meade County baseball, I know we were talking just a second ago off air. What does come to mind when you think of them?
Well, you think of some good baseball games. I've played quite a few games against Meade County, and I can't think of a single one that was decided by more than 3 runs. We always played them close. They always played us close. And it was always a good matchup when we played them. And certainly one thing I think of is they love to bunt. Loved it.
And that's kind of one of those things Grayson County at the same time likes to bunt as well. As a team, though, when you're going up against a team, you know going in, they like to bunt. Is that something that head coach Danny Clark will game plan and, bring infielders in at times, or is that something that you really can't play for?
No, you absolutely plan for it. I have to imagine in practice, Thursday, Friday, last time they practiced, they covered some bunt defense. They covered 3-call, 5-call, which is our bunt defense with first and third baseman. And I have to imagine Coach Clark covered that pretty well coming into this game.
When you look at Meade County, these two teams played 1 week ago today. So it was back on April the 5th in Bardstown. The final score of that one was 12-1. As technically that was a run rule game, so it was only in 5 innings. And Grayson County in that one, as what stood out for Meade County in that game, Kaiser Burnett got the start. He's not starting tonight pitching. And he threw a complete, I guess you would say, a complete game shutout in only the 5 innings. Trevor Goodwin was the player that stood out for the Green Wave in that game. He had 3 hits, 4 RBIs, including which you could say was a walk-off home run. You put kind of quotation marks around that because it was a walk-off home run to get to the run rule limit of that 10 runs in that game last week. Grayson County 0-6, looking for their first win of the season. No better time than here at home. So we'll introduce you to them coming up. This is Grayson County Cougar Baseball on K105. Welcome back here to Donley Field, Grayson County and Meade County. Moments away from first pitch. It's nice that we can actually go back, as during basketball season we couldn't say moments away from tip-off because there was no tip-off, but obviously there's nothing COVID-related about not having a first pitch, because obviously if there's no first pitch, there's no game. But Dane Hawkins is going to get the start here for Grayson County, as Briley Napier will join us. And Briley, we're going to get a scouting report on Dane as we get a little bit closer to action, but 0-6 for Grayson County, and I want to take you back here to not last year, but I guess not the last season you played, but the season before that. This team started 1-8 for Grayson County. Do you have any memories from that on how difficult that was? Because it's in a similar position to where you're starting this year.
Oh, it's very difficult starting a year like that. Coach Clark always did a real good job of keeping our spirits high, and you know, when I played our group, we just had fun. We didn't let it get to us too much, and Coach Clark always had a really rough schedule for us, and it made us better in the long run. Come district time, we were ready, but we always had a rough schedule, and we kept that in the back of our head. We knew that we weren't going to have a cakewalk through the season, so rough starts were inevitable, but we pushed through it, and second half of the season, come May, we're always ready, and we're looking for this team to do the same.
And that's kind of the thing that I've harped on when you look at this, is that Grayson County, yes, you're 0-6, but even when I was talking to, I think, one of the players or someone in the dugout earlier, it was, you can theoretically go 0-30, but when you're 2 games in the district and you're in the regional tournament and you're in a good position, it doesn't matter. The regular season, to an extent, means absolutely nothing when it comes to everybody making the playoffs. It's all about your seeding and your district games, and Grayson County doesn't have their first district game, as you got to go, I think, either the end of, it's April the 26th and 27th, so you are still 2 weeks away from your first district game, and that's against Edmondson County. So there's still plenty of time to get better before the games that actually mean something.
Right.
Grayson County and Meade County moments away from getting underway in this one. We'll come back, have your starting lineups in the first pitch, as this is Grayson County Cougar Baseball on K1. the starting lineups here for both teams. First for the visiting Meade County Green Wave, again coming in with a record of 5-1 as the Cougars take the field right now. Leading off and playing left field will be Dylan Abel. Batting second at shortstop, Kaiser Burnett. The three-hole hitter will be the first baseman, Trevor Goodwin. Batting cleanup, Justin Heiner. He will be the center fielder. The designated hitter is Charles Asher. Batting sixth at third base is Dalton Wiles. In the latter third is Ben Banks behind the plate, Trace Hardesty toeing the mound, and Brady Knott will be in right field. Once more, that's Abel in left, Burnett at short, Goodwin at first, Heiner in center, Asher is the designated hitter, Wiles is at third, Banks behind the plate, Hardesty pitching, Knott in right field, and Brady Dawson will be the second baseman. Now the starting lineup for the Grayson County Cougars. Leading off behind the plate will be Chandler McCready. Batting second at second base, Gavin Childress. Batting third and playing left field will be Camden Brothers. Batting fourth, the pitcher, Dane Hawkins. Batting fifth and playing center field, Caden Woodcock. Batting sixth in right field is Mason Miller. In the latter third is Eli Watson at third, Ethan Snyder at short, and Cody Shepard at first. Once more, that's McCready behind the plate, Childress at second, Brothers in left, Hawkins is a pitcher, Woodcock in center, Miller in right, Watson at third, Snyder at short, and Cody Shepard is the first baseman. Dane Hawkins toeing the rubber for Grayson County this season. He is 0-2, but has been very good. 191 ERA with 20 strikeouts in his games pitched this year. Briley, you caught Dane quite a bit over your time. What's kind of your scouting report when you look at Dane Hawkins as a pitcher?
When I think of Dane Hawkins, I don't necessarily think of a pitcher, but more so a thrower. And that's not an insult, but whenever he's on the mound, he is not thinking analytically. He's not thinking of, what do I have to do to get this guy out, or what about the guy on deck? What am I thinking about him? He is getting up there, tabbing, slabbing the mound, and just throwing it as hard as he can to try to get the guy out. It's nothing more, nothing less.
And he had a lot of success against Greene County in a game which was played, I guess, 2 weeks ago on opening day. Hitting 15 strikeouts in 7 innings, I think it was either 0 or 1 earned run.
Yeah.
And got the loss. Tough way to go about it when you look at it. But the thing that stood out to me, Dane, in that game is that when he threw a first pitch strike, every single batter was retired.
And that's high school baseball right there. You have to throw strikes to have success. It's quite as simple as that.
Leading off for Meade County will be Dylan Abel. Left fielder, he was a heck of a basketball player as well. Big rebounder down there for the Green Wave. The first pitch here from the senior Dane Hawkins as he winds and throws, and our game is underway as it is a ball inside called by our home plate umpire. So 1-0 pitch there from Dane Hawkins. Dylan Abel, again, he is their left fielder for the Green Wave today, as that pitch did not miss by much by Hawkins on the inside corner. He tries to go to the outside, and there's the first strike, called strike on that outside corner. Chandler McCready is his battering mate behind the plate today, coming back from an appendectomy that caused him to miss much of the first week and a half of the season. A little breaking ball on the outside corner is just misses for ball 2. So a 2-1 pitch there from Hawkins. Hawkins is a fairly quick worker, which I always like to see. Reminds me of Wade Miley for the Reds. Gets the ball and he wants to pitch. He misses low there to fall behind at 3 balls and 1 strike. As a catcher, you probably have to love when a pitcher wants to get the ball and start throwing.
Absolutely. You love a good pace of the game. So as long as he's getting a sign.
The 3-1 pitch from Hawkins is ball outside high, and the first batter for the Green Wave reaches on a free pass. Kaiser Burnett will step in here for the Green Wave. He was starting pitcher when these two teams played last week. He pitched 5 innings, no runs allowed. As Kaiser is the shortstop for this Green Wave baseball team. Hawkins stares down the runner, showing bunts and pulling away. And again, Briley, you talked about that in the open. Meade County, very similar to Grayson County. They're going to bunt the ball.
They'll try, that's for sure. And defense has to be ready. A bunt is a free out as long as you execute everything.
It's a good way to put it, and I think we can dive deeper into the analytics of whether the bunt is actually a good thing or not. And I think if you ask Danny Clark, yes. And I'm sure if you ask Meade County's coach, then yes, it is a good thing, as there's a bunt attempt that rolls foul. That'll make our count here 1 ball and 1 strike. And I think it's kind of one of those things. I know Ted Hill was saying, the Lady Cougar softball coach was saying at a game last week, that, you know, if you lay down the bunt, good things happen. Mm-hmm. And yes, good things can happen, but at the same time, bad things can happen. As you can easily pop foul, pop out to the third baseman if you don't get a good bunt down. But good bunters are a massive weapon, especially if you have speed, because you can easily beat it out. Abel's got a large leadoff down at first, and he is off and running. The pitch is inside, and McCready bobbles it. And Abel will go in easily down at second base. It's the one thing that stands out, Briley. Grayson County's catching has been a little bit of a struggle this season.
Right.
Opponents are now 33 of 34 on stolen base attempts this season. The lone caught stealing was Mason Miller. He caught a man late in the first week of the season. Abel has another big lead, and there's a little dribbler of a butt. It's going to roll foul.
I think it's very clear that they've had some trouble whenever Mason Miller is not a catcher. Don't believe he's caught since Little League ball, maybe 7th grade middle school.
And he statistically has had the most innings caught so far this season.
He has 13 innings caught this year, which is 4 more than McCready, who is supposed to be your starting catcher.
And that's by no means fault of Chandler.
No.
And right now, from what we understand, he probably shouldn't even be catching right now for Grayson County, as he's still trying to come back from an appendectomy, which is a heck of an operation. The break-even pitch coming here from Dane Hawkins. Nobody out here in the top of the first inning. It's inside, and our count will move full. This is a big pitch coming here from Dane. With nobody out in this inning, you don't want to allow Meade to have 2 runners on.
No, especially not for the guy on deck.
3 balls, 2 strikes, the full count pitch. Called strike 3. Right down the middle, the sweeping pitch comes in. And Hawkins gets his first strikeout of the ball game, and that is a big timeout, especially with a big bopper coming in. Trevor Goodwin, last time Grayson County played him, the lefty, had 3 hits, 4 runs batted in, including a home run. And that was kind of what you could say, a walk-off home run of sorts. And the first pitch to Goodwin is a called strike on the outside corner.
Looked like a backdoor cutter there. That's how you have to pitch this guy. You can't throw him meatballs down the middle. You got to throw him a little bit backwards. Dane has a good cutter. You got to put it into effect here.
He stares down the runner, Abel at second. The pitch, called strike on the outside corner. He's getting that outside part of the zone. And as I always say, as much of a pitcher and a catcher, as much as an umpire has to learn you have to learn the umpire. Every umpire's strike zone is just a little bit different. Some like to call the inside pitch a little bit more. Some like to call the outside pitch. As he stretches out to get that one, the shortstop, Snyder, goes to his right. Long throw. He got him. Nice play by Ethan Snyder, the shortstop, to go to his left and go a long way to grab that one. And that is the second out of the inning. Abel does move to first base in the play. It's a nice play by Ethan Snyder. See to go a long way to grab that one. So now batting here for Meade County will be Justin Heiner, another lefty. 3 of the first 4 hitters for the Green Wave have been left-handed hitters in this game. As the pitch to Hawkins is inside for ball 1. Nice stop by McCready. The 1-0 is a dribbler to the second baseman and bobbles in. He recovers, not in time. Gavin Childress bobbles that one, and that will be the first run of the game, as it was a hit to the right side, and he just was not able to get it in time, and an error will get a run in for the Green Wave. Now stepping in will be Charles Asher. So it's 1-0 Green Wave early on here in this first inning. And those are the routine ground balls that you just have to make if you're Grayson County.
Yeah, that just can't happen right there. You're senior second baseman. You got to make the routine plays look routine.
So 2 down in the inning. Large leadoff and a pickoff attempt in just ahead of the tag is Heiner. Something that you can see early on is Meade County is going to be aggressive on the base paths. They're taking large leads down. And as a catcher, that's one thing, too, that you're going to communicate to with the pitcher, is because you almost have a better angle on the first baseman than does the pitcher. I'm sure you all have signs, don't you, on throwing over to first or something, don't you?
Yes.
There's another pickoff attempt, and again, just in ahead of the tag is Heiner. But at the same time, as a catcher, do you almost sometimes have to tell your pitcher, stop throwing over?
It happens. Sometimes pitchers, when they're afraid of the batter, and I'm not saying Dane's here is afraid, but they'll keep throwing over.
So there's the pitch, called strike to Charles Asher. As I know that as the Reds, their color analyst, Chris Welsh, he has the MLB record for throwing over, I think, 17 straight times. You know, he always tells a story about once a year. He'll tell the story on air, and he did over this past weekend of and I can't remember the player who was over there on first. And there's another pickoff, and they got him picked off. Here comes the pickle as they throw down to Snyder. Snyder back to Hawkins, and Hawkins will place the tag down, and that is the inning. Meade County, though, does score one, and through half an inning, it's the Green Waves 1, and the Cougs are coming up. This is Grayson County Cougar baseball on K105. Trace Hardesty will be the starting pitcher tonight for the Meade County Green Wave. And it'll be Chandler McCready to lead off. Grayson County has struggled hitting the ball this season. McCready in limited appearances, 0 for 3 this year. And hitting is almost a mindset as much as it is just a talent, as Hardesty is the junior pitcher for the Green Wave. And the first pitch from him is a called strike right down the middle from Hardesty. Hardesty's about 5'10", 5'11". He's got some good size, and when you see a pitcher like that, usually means that he can throw maybe a little bit of heat. He can get the ball going. McCready makes contact as there's a slow ground ball to the shortstop Burnett. The throw across the diamond gets McCready by about 2 or 3 steps. There's the first out of this inning. Grayson County, again, 0-6 on the season, and runs have been the issue. There's just no other way to put it. So when you look up and down the Grayson County schedule this season, 2 runs, 2 runs, 4 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, no runs. And when you're averaging about 2 runs a game, you're not going to win. You're not going to win many games. So now batting for Grayson County will be Gavin Childress. He has a pitch down low.
Danny Clark always preached his goal was to average 7 runs a game. That's how you know you're a successful team, and it's not looking too pretty so far this year.
Second pitch by Childress. He fouls it off to the left side. And Childress, he was the player that made the error at second base. And it seems like one of those things is, as I always say, it's either the player that makes the great play or the play that he should have made in the field is always coming up to hit. It seems like it's the unwritten rule of baseball that it has to happen this way. And now if you're Childress, and I'm sure, Briley, with you being a catcher, there was a situation where you had a pass ball that you should have stopped or something along the lines.
I had quite a few, unfortunately, but it happens.
And when you came up to hit, you felt like you owed it to your team to slap one down, didn't you?
Yeah, you did, and sometimes that got to your head. You thought you had to do too much. And as a player, especially with a struggling offense, all you got to do is get on base. You don't have to ring one off the wall. You got to find a way on base.
The break-even pitch coming here as Gavin Childress swung through the last one. The wind and the throw outside, and Childress has moved this count here 3 balls and 2 strikes. And I'm always, when I played, I couldn't hit, and I fully admitted that. But I knew the strike zone.
Right.
And my philosophy was always a walk is the same thing as a single.
Absolutely. On-base percentage means just as much as an average.
The 3-2 pitch, Childress swings over top of it, and he'll go down on strikes. Grayson County's going to turn now to Camden Brothers. Brothers this season batting .250, 3 doubles, 2 RBIs for Grayson County. He's one of the leading hitters on this team so far. In fact, if you're going just based on sheer number of at-bats, he does lead the team in this category. Hardesty's the quick worker. Swing and a miss by Brothers on the first pitch.
Yeah, Camden has a .471 on base percentage on the year, which is nothing to scoff at by any means.
No, I mean, when you get on almost half the time, good things can happen when you get on base. He'll fly one to straightaway center field. Heiner doesn't have to move much at all, and that is the third out of the inning. Grayson County, it only takes him 10 pitches to go down in 1 and through 1. It's Meade County 1, Grayson County 1. This is Cougar Baseball right here on K1. Dane Hawkins in for his second inning of work. Meade County on top 1-0 here. Sam Gormley and Briley Napier with you from Don Lee Field. It is, windy. Other than that, it could not be a more perfect night for baseball. I'm not sure that there's a cloud in the sky, and it's baseball weather. It's baseball season.
Absolutely.
It's perfect. Charles Asher, he was the man who was at the plate when the runner got thrown out in the rundown in the last inning to end it. So Asher will come back up, no balls, no strikes. And the senior Hawkins delivers the first pitch of the inning. Swing and a miss. It does go to the backstop, but still Hawkins ahead the count here at no balls and 1 strike. The first batter of the inning, in my opinion, is always the most important. You want to get that first out. You look back to that first inning. First runner gets on base.
They score.
And they score.
Leadoff runners, I don't have a stat in front of me, but leadoff runners score, I'd say 30% of the time maybe. That's a great way to start an inning and a horrible way to start the inning if you're the Cougars here.
The 1-1 pitch coming from the senior Hawkins is inside, and it bends at the last second.
That's that cutter.
It is called a strike on the inside corner, and you could tell that Asher, he was standing there, and I think he was waiting to take it on the shoulder. But that last second, it bends in. The 1-2 pitch, Hawkins ahead in the count, is just tipped off, and it bounces out of McCrady's glove. Tough play for a catcher. Catchers, I love that there was a play that Tucker Barnhart for the Reds made where it was bobbling around and he was able to catch it at the last second. It makes it look easy, but it is incredibly difficult as there's a foul ball down that third base line. It's hard.
It is. Batter here is way out in front of everything. If you're Dane here, you cannot throw a fastball. You got to get that cutter off the plate or drop a changeup under his knees, see what happens.
The 1-2 coming from Hawkins is a ground ball foul down into the Meade County dugout. Staying on the on-deck circle for the Green Wave is Wiles, the third baseman. Good battle here to start the inning. The 7th pitch of the at-bat and the 1-2. Hawkins still ahead in the count. Outside, he got him to chase, but it is a foul tip out.
Yep.
Nice job by Chandler McCrady to grab that one, and there is a strikeout for Hawkins.
You ask any catcher, catching a foul tip, completely luck. But as a catcher, you got to act like it's a skill. You got to act like you did it on purpose. But
and that was a great one, too, as that pitch
was
was bending outside, and McCrady had to dive into the left-handed batter's box. Dalton Wiles will step in here for his first at-bat of the game, and Hawkins' first pitch, again, the Wiles thought that pitch was going to hit him, and that one was a little bit more
close.
inside. It didn't bend as much. But when you can establish the interior portion of the plate, good things can happen because you're not going to find many hitters that like it inside. And that one does not bend and hits him on the left side of his body. And there is the first base runner on here in the second inning. Ben Banks, the catcher, steps in here for Meade County. Hawkins checks the runner, checks it a second time, looks over that left shoulder. And it's a ground ball back to Hawkins. He'll snag, he'll throw around to second. That's going to get one. And the turn will not be made by Gavin Childress. They get the sure out at second. And one down at the second out of the inning here for Grayson County.
And that's what you have to do there if you're Dane. You can't go too crazy there and try to turn a spectacular double play. You have to set your feet and make a good throw to second.
Especially when you know that the catcher is up. In fact, they're going to go a courtesy runner right now. Is in a lot of situations, is the courtesy runner in for Meade County. It's number 14, Nate Banks, sophomore outfielder. Will courtesy run for the catcher, and it'll be Trace Hardesty, the pitcher in. So pitcher on pitcher here. And there's a called strike, low and inside, and again that cutter finds that inside corner. It's working well, though, early on, which is a good sign.
Runners are going to be a little more timid to get a big lead after that pickoff in the first.
Still a decent lead out there by the courtesy runner. And there's a ground ball to the shortstop, and it's going to be in the hole. The throw across the diamond gets him by half a step. Nice play by Ethan Snyder. Grayson County gets through the inning with no damage, and through 1.5, it's 1-0 Meade County. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. Dane Hawkins will lead off here the bottom of the second inning. Grayson County trails this one 1-0. Pitcher on pitcher. Hawkins won the matchup just a second ago when he was pitching. See if he can win when batting as well. Hawkins this season in the batter's box hitting .214 with a double and 2 RBIs. I think it's safe to say that he's probably a better hitter than he's had so far this season.
Dane has some pop in his bat, and to have a successful year, he's going to have to.
Dane Hawkins has doubled off the wall here in this one, and Grayson County here, as we had a little bit of technical difficulties. We're back with you, though, and hopefully we'll be able to fix these. As Caden Woodcock is in for Grayson County, and he fouls one behind the plate. So it's no balls and 2 strikes, and what you had just missed was a fly ball off the wall and straight away center field by Dane Hawkins. It could not have picked a worse time for our system here to shut down, but
it was a shot to dead center. Center fielder got a bad read on it, but still, you can't discredit the hit.
Pitch to Woodcock, gets to the backstop, and Hawkins will advance on to third base, and now you have a runner 90 feet away, and if you're Caden Woodcock, this changes your at-bat around here, even though you're behind at no balls and 2 strikes.
Have to put the ball in play here. A ground ball to the right side ties this game up, and Woodcock gets a pat on the back from everybody in the dugout.
A fly ball is even better.
If you get it deep enough.
Hawkins is, he's by no means slow out there, and test your runner there.
And that's not going to do it.
As there's a swing and a miss from Caden Woodcock on a pitch high, and there is one down in the inning. Mason Miller will step in for Grayson County as he is hitting .067 on the season with 1 run batted in.
certainly looking to make it 2 right here.
And he swings over top of the first pitch from Hardesty. Now, if you're Hardesty in this situation, you are just trying to, right now, the main focus that you're probably on is strikeout. That's what you want, is because you want to get that second out of the inning. So there's a pitch low and outside, and that will make our county move to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, that's everything here on Trace's mind. He's looking for the strikeout here. And as Mason, you have to choke up on the bat, shorten up, put the ball in play.
And
if
you're Dane down there at third base, you just saw a ball go to the backstop. There's a pitch inside, and Mason Miller just misses him. And it's kind of almost one of those things that he turned his shoulder the opposite way. Do you almost turn it the other way? And it's one of those things that we can say that staying up here in the press box, but now that we're not in the batter's box, as Miller fouls that one off to the right side, and that'll even up our count here at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I loved getting hit by a pitch. I was quite infamous for leaning into pitches,
and getting hit in the head, right?
Yeah, a couple times. But with a runner on third and less than 2 outs, you don't want to get hit by a pitch. If you put the ball in play here, you're the hero. You're not looking to get a free base here. You're looking to put the ball in play.
The break-even pitch coming from Hardesty.
Well,
that'll do it. Mason Miller takes one on the back, and now you've got runners on the corners with only 1 down. And Grayson County will now turn to Eli Watson, the sophomore infielder, playing third base today. He's hitting .083 this season with 1 RBI, but as you mentioned, Briley, right now that average means nothing, because if you put this one into play, if you even find a gap shot, Mason's not slow. I mean, you hit this one to the wall and you can put him off to the races.
You can.
But right now, your thought process has to be just getting the ball in play. And he does that, but it's off to the right side and out of play.
I like the approach there from Eli. It's an outside pitch. He throws his hands at it. A little bit quicker, you might be able to poke that over the first baseman's head, and you have first and third and a tie ball game.
Trace Hardesty, the pitcher here, this is a big moment for Grayson County. When you struggle to score runs, you need to find a way to knock in Hawkins from only 90 feet away. And there's a ground ball to the right side. Hawkins will come home. They're going to try to turn the double play. He is safe.
Yep.
So that will get Grayson County a run across. And Eli Watson hustles down the line and gets the runner in from home. It was a smart play by Meade County, knowing how many outs there were to try and turn the 4-6-3 double play. But luckily, Grayson County's Eli Watson hustling down the line. He's out by the runner at second. Miller is out. But more importantly, the runner crosses home.
It's not pretty, but it gets the job done.
1-1 now is our score, and Grayson County will turn to Ethan Snyder with a runner on first base. The pitch is fouled off behind the plate. We'll do this one more time. For Snyder this season for Grayson County, hitting .133, still looking for his first RBI on the year. 2 down here in the bottom of the second inning. Grayson County has tied our game up at 1. The pitch is a ground ball to the shortstop, Burnett. He will throw across the diamond and get Snyder by half a step. Through 2, Grayson County has tied our game up at 1. As it's Grayson County 1, Meade County 1. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. Dane Hawkins in for that third inning of work. Grayson County ties this game up here at 1. Leading off for the Green Wave will be Brady Knott. Knott is the right fielder today for the Green Wave, the junior. As the infield goes in and gives the pep talk to the senior Hawkins. Hawkins so far today, 2 innings pitched. When you look at it, 2 strikeouts. You said that that's one thing that Dane focuses on. And another thing that stands out is the 2 base runners that have reached for the Green Waves, 1 a hit by pitch and 1 a walk.
No earned runs.
No earned runs either for Grayson County in this game. Not the junior right fielder. Looks in from Hawkins, and the first pitch is high for ball 1. Again, another Meade County player shying away from that cutter from Hawkins on the inside. And as a pitcher and a catcher, when you know that the team keeps moving out like it's going to hit them, but you're getting that inside pitch, that makes you want to throw it even more, doesn't it?
Oh, you have to pound that inside part of the plate. So far, the Meade County hitters haven't shown any interest in swinging at it. So you got that Chandler has to move over just a little bit, set up on that inside part of the plate, and you might get a few calls.
2 balls and no strikes pitch. He speeds that one up, and it just misses low and outside. And falling behind here at 3 balls and no strikes is Brady Knott.
After tying up the game in the bottom half of the second, this is exactly what you can't do if you're Dane. You can't fall behind 3-0 to the 9-hole hitter.
The pitch, it is a called strike. As at first I thought, a late strike call there from our home plate umpire. At first I thought we were going to have a pitch that was just going to miss, but the 3-1 coming from Hawkins, trying to fight back from a 3-0 deficit, and he misses low, and that is a leadoff walk for the Green Wave. And a return to the top of the order for Dylan Abel, who also reached on a walk in his first at-bat and came around to score the Green Wave's 1 run of the game. Again, like we had mentioned, Meade County has been active on the base pass. Grayson County has picked off 1 runner today, though.
It's very easy to see the third baseman playing up here. Could see a sack bunt here.
Abel does have some pop to his bat if he wants to take it. He doesn't show bunt, and there's a called strike. Abel didn't even have a fake or even nothing in his swing or his approach there said, I'm going to bunt. And that could be one of those things to hope that the third baseman scoots back a little bit, and now he drops one down. The pickoff attempt in the safely is not.
And one thing to watch for here, Dane is not quick to the plate. He has a long motion, and even from the stretch, he's not too quick to the plate. So these Meade County runners probably should be picking up on that pretty soon. You might see some motion on the base pass.
Another big leadoff by Knott down at first base. Hawkins checks the runner, and he'll try it again, and in just ahead of the throw is Knott down at first base. Hawkins looks over at Sean Williams, the field umpire. I think Dane thought that he got him by a little bit, but Sean Williams, who it's a long way for him to look and see. In fact, between Dane and Sean, they're both looking from about the same distance. Pitch high, and secondary lead by Knott was extensive, and McCready faked the throw back down to Cody Shepard, the first baseman. So 1 ball and 1 strike here in the bottom of the third, or the top of the third inning, 1-1 between Grayson County and Meade County. Hawkins checks the runner at first, looks over that right shoulder, and the runner is off. Pitch outside, throw down, and he is in there easily ahead of the throw. There's a stolen base for Meade County, and the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike.
And that was not a bad throw whatsoever by McCready, but like I said earlier, when you're slow to the plate, that runner has all the time in the world to get there, and McCready really didn't have a chance on that play.
He got a good jump, too, down at first base. So now you got a runner in scoring position with nobody down in the inning, and 1, 2, and 3 coming up to the plate here for the Green Wave. So Dylan Abel heading the count here at 2 balls and 1 strike. He's already walked once tonight. Hawkins checks the runner at second again. Now delivers the pitch to the plate. Just misses low. And Hawkins is falling behind in the count here at 3 balls and 1 strike. Hawkins looking at 38 pitches right now, 53% for a strike. So control has been a little bit of an issue early on for the senior ace for this Grayson County pitching staff. The 3-1 is outside, and Hawkins has walked a pair of batters in this inning. You've got runners on first and second with nobody out for Kaiser Burnett. Burnett in his first at bat struck out looking.
Don't expect that again. You strike out looking in your first at bat. You're coming up looking to hit the ball here. That's for sure.
And this is kind of one of these things that he didn't bunt in his first at bat, but I think he showed bunt a couple of times. So we'll see if he does that again here with runners on first and second. If they'll try to put some runners in motion. Pick off to second. It goes into center field as the ball skipped away from Ethan Snyder, the shortstop. And if Snyder would have fielded that one cleanly, it would have been a bang-bang play right in front of the umpire, Sean Williams.
And that play right there, they ran daylight there, and it just didn't work. Dane had a good move. Snyder was there. Just couldn't trap the ball with his glove.
So when you say daylight, for those listening that don't know what that is.
Shortstop here, on a daylight play, shortstop would flash his leather behind the runner. Pitcher Dane set his chin to the batter and turn and throw. Probably won't see it again here.
Showing bunt, and pitch just misses on the outside corner. The first one there to Burnett.
Daylight's a play the Cougars will not be afraid to run, but if you run it too many times in a row, it's just going to become redundant. You're not going to get an out from it.
The first baseman, Shepard, is in on the grass. Third baseman playing pretty much straight away for Grayson County, and there's a bunt foul behind the plate. So you got third at Eli Watson, and in a way, isn't he having to play back?
Yes.
So you can have a play at third.
Yeah, so 5 call will be on here.
So the third baseman will be playing back. First baseman's playing up. Pitcher Dane will have anything on the left-hand side of the mound. Anything on the right side will be first baseman Cody Shepard's play. And you'd love to get the out at third here.
So the 1-1 pitch to Burnett is behind the runner. And luckily that doesn't hit him to load up the bases. I think that pitch kind of slipped out of his hand a little bit, and it still had that same bend, but the issue was that the bend started pretty much on the edge of the batter's box and came right through the middle of it. So Hawkins has fallen behind here, 2-1 strike. It's still a 1-1 game here in the top of the third inning. Trying to get out of this inning, as there's another pickoff attempt, and in safely again is the runner Knott down at second base. Big moment here in this game. Got to make a good pitch, especially since Burnett is more than likely going to be bunting. He shows bunt again, gets it, but it's fouled behind the plate.
Well,
no, it wasn't.
Like he missed it.
I thought that was fouled behind the plate, but no, it's going to be a wild pitch, and both runners are going to advance on the plate. As I thought, the way that ball kind of moved out of the batter's box, it looked like it was a foul tip.
That was just a hard cutter there from Hawkins, and Chandler couldn't get to it.
So runners move up to second and third. And the pitch comes. It gets to the backstop again. The runner thought about moving, but the one thing here about Don Lee Field is that you've got bricks on the back, so when that ball comes, it smacks off of there, and it can really help a catcher out. So I guess that was called a strike. I guess they're saying that the batter on that last play did swing.
I caught here for quite a few years, and that backstop will help you. It'll kill you a few times, too.
So here comes the full count pitch. Big pitch coming here from Dane Hawkins is a fly ball to left field. Brothers is on the horse. He's going to let it drop. One run is going to score. As runners will now be on first and third with still nobody out in this inning. I thought Brothers was going to be able to have a play on that one, but it looked like it just died out there in the outfield.
It looks like there could have been a play on that one, but if you let that get by you, then it's a blowout already, and you don't want that.
So run runners across the plate. Grayson County finds themselves in another deficit. Trevor Goodwin, the power hitter for Meade County, steps in. And you've got runners on the corner, still nobody out. And it hits Goodwin, or does it not? I guess he got out of the way, and McCready has to go run all the way up the third baseline. Again, we just mentioned that here at Don Lee Field, that brick, it'll help you out, and then the next time it's going to hurt you, and that time it hurts you as that ball bounced off of the brick and went all the way up the third base line. So they call a ball, as I thought that had hit Goodwin, but the wild pitch does allow the runner, Burnett, to advance to second. Danny Clark, head coach for Grayson County, making his way out to discuss this. And you've been in these mound visits thousands of times. What's Coach Clark saying here?
He's just trying to calm down Dane here. Dane, his brain works a little too fast sometimes. He's got to calm down. He's got to take a couple deep breaths. And he has to throw strikes. And it'll be interesting to see here if he attacks the batter, because you have an open base at first. But with how erratic Dane has been throwing, you don't want to load the bases because then a walk or wild pitch scores another run. But you certainly don't want to put anything up on a silver platter here to drive in an easy 2 runs.
Hawkins in tonight's game, 46 pitches, only 23 for a strike. So a 50% ball strike, it's just not going to get it done.
No, sir, it will not.
So 1-0 count will be to Trevor Goodwin. He's 0 for 1 today. As in this one, he grounded out to the shortstop Snyder, who made a nice play going to his right to throw across the diamond. Big pitch here, and I think, like we were talking in the bottom half of the last inning, you're thinking strikeout all the way here if you're Dane Hawkins. You need a K to get out, to just get an out in this inning, especially with runners in scoring position. And there is a ground ball to the right side. That's going to get the 3rd run of the game in. Childress will throw on to first. There's the first out, but the 3rd run of this game does score, and the Green Wave lead 3-1.
And you take that if you're the Cougars. You have a really powerful hitter up in the 3-hole, 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. You take that out there every day of the week.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
And now you can turn, and this is just kind of one of these things that
now you're definitely looking for the strikeout here. Definitely. Another ground ball, and you're down 3 runs, and with a struggling offense, that's a lot.
In for Meade County, Justin Heiner. And the first pitch to Heiner is a called ball on the outside corner. Heiner today is reached on an error by Gavin Childress that did score the first run of this game. So 1 ball, no strike pitch to Justin Heiner, the senior center fielder. There's a called strike low and outside. And we mentioned in the last inning where Gavin Childress was the player who made an error in the field, and not necessarily that Heiner, the center fielder, made an error, but he misplayed a ball in center field, and probably in that same mentality, he's probably trying to make contact and make up for that misplay in the field and knock in the 4th run of this game. As there's a called strike, and Hawkins is ahead in the count here at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big pitch coming. Trying to not allow another run to cross this plate. 1 down here in the top of the 3rd. The pitch from Hawkins. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Beautiful pitch to the lefty. He's been having that pitch would be to inside to a righty. Mm-hmm. And the umpire calls it for him, and there's the 2nd out of this inning, and now you can kind of, this entire at-bat changes for Charles Asher. And pitch inside, called strike.
They're getting that inside corner. You got to pound it.
That's, you mentioned it. I mean, you look at this, it's the thing, Dane Hawkins, he's getting that pitch consistently. When you're getting it, take advantage, because Meade County doesn't seem to be wanting any part of that.
No.
Pitch high to make our count here to move to 1 ball and 1 strike.
If you're Coach Clark here, you got to make it obvious here to Dane. They have not hit the ball hard yet this game. We're 2 2/3 in. There hasn't been any solid contact.
Pitch low, and nice stop by McCready to make sure that that one doesn't go to the backstop. And right now, catcher, you are the most important player. In a way, you're the most important player on the field right now because Hawkins has struggled with a little bit of command here. The last thing you need is a pitch to go by you with the runner at 3rd base. Called strike, low at the knees. That'll even up our count here at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, a pass ball here would be absolutely deflating for the Cougars. Chandler has to be tough. Dane has to be even tougher here.
The break-even pitch coming from the senior Hawkins. Low and outside, just misses. And our count moves full. Charles Asher, the designated hitter for the Green Wave, a senior on senior. Big pitch in this game already. Grayson County trying to keep this a 2-run deficit. The 3-2 coming from Hawkins. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Dane Hawkins gets out of the inning with no more damage. 2 runners cross the plate, and through 2.5, it's Grayson County trailing Meade County 3-1. It's Cougar Baseball on K105. Welcome back here to Donley Field, Grayson County. In Meade County, the Green Wave put 2 runs in the top of that 3rd inning, and Cody Shepard will step in for the Cougars, hitting .286 this season with one run batted in, and he's leading the team in most of the offensive categories, which, I mean, you see .286, and he's leading the team as he flies one inside the infield. The shortstop, Burnett, will call, and there is the first out of this inning. 1 pitch, 1 out. As Shepard making contact, and I think that's the biggest thing for Grayson County right now, is that you just want to see contact. You don't want to keep seeing strikeouts after strikeouts after strikeouts. Not that a pop fly in the infield is anything that you want.
It's better than a strikeout.
It's better than a strikeout because at least a pop fly, you have a chance of getting on base. So there's a pitch high for the leadoff hitter, Chandler McCready. He grounded out in his first at-bat.
And something we saw from Cody there, he jumped at a first pitch strike. That's something these Cougars don't do too often. They love to watch that first pitch strike. Right there.
Cold strike on the inside corner, and again, our umpire, as I always say, an umpire, as long as you're consistent, I'm fine. I mean, that pitch to some umpires might be too far inside, but he's consistently called it behind the plate. And as a batter and as a pitcher, you have to learn that. You need to know that, hey, he's going to call that inside pitch, so if it comes up there, you need to be swinging. If anything, just try and chop one foul.
And Chandler's got to know the zone better than anybody out here right now.
Because he is the catcher for Grayson County. So 2 balls, 1 strike. He's ahead in the count. And he watches that pitch right down Broadway, and our count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And when you watch that second strike with less than 3 balls, you put yourself into a tough situation here. You're probably not getting another fastball here down the middle of the plate.
The break-even pitch coming from the pitcher, Hardesty, is a swing and a miss, and McCready goes down on strikes. And that's 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Gavin Childress will step in for Grayson County. He struck out swinging in his first at-bat. The lefty steps in, and as a left-handed hitter myself, special spot in my heart for good old lefties. Let's see what he can do here. And he grounds one to the right side. The second baseman, Dawson, picks, fires, and the Cougars take only 7 pitches to go down in order. And through 3, it's Meade 3, Grayson 1. It's Cougar baseball on K1.
Idiot.
Welcome back here to Grayson County High School, where Meade County leads this one 3-1 as we head to the top of the 4th inning. As this has been walks are leading to runs for Grayson County. Dane Hawkins in this game so far through 3 innings, only given up 1 hit, but has walked 3 batters. Something to keep in mind. Walks, I think it's the old at Riverfront Stadium for the Reds, the old stadium, they had the scoreboard would always say walks will haunt. That's probably one of the truest things that you can say in baseball. A walk almost never ends positively.
Pretty demoralizing for a pitcher. Getting beat is one thing. Beating yourself, that hurts.
Leading off for Meade County will be Dalton Wiles, and he reached on a hit by pitch in his first at bat, which is a glorified walk. So Cougs trail 3-1 here as we hit to the top of this fourth inning. Still in this game, but you got to have a quick inning here if you're Hawkins, as there's a swing and a miss. The first pitch there by Wiles. We were talking here during the break. Hawkins, that was his 58th pitch of the game. On the other side, Hardesty has only thrown 33. You've got to become more pitch efficient, and when you're looking in the fourth inning, almost at 60 pitches, you need a quick inning. If you can get one of less than 10 pitches, that'd be huge here if you're Hawkins. As that was pitch outside. Moving our count here to 1 ball and 1 strike. As there's a pitch inside, called strike.
And it's been tough for Dane to get out of an inning without throwing too many pitches because Meade County's really not putting the ball in play too much.
No, they're watching. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a foul ball behind the plate. We'll do it one more time. Or they're doing this and they're fouling pitches off. And as a team, that's something that you have to like. I mean, as a coach, when you're staying alive, you're waiting for your pitch. You know, you'd always hear that it's kind of the thing that parents will always say, wait for your pitch, wait for your pitch. So there's a pitch outside, and that'll make our count move to 2 balls and 2 strikes. And for every hitter, your pitch is different. What were you wanting when you were up there? What was your sweet zone?
Well, I was not much of a power threat, but my one home run I did hit was a letter high.
Called strike 3, and it gets away from McCready. He slips in the box. We'll throw down to first, though. And that will be the first out of this fourth inning.
A lot of hitters, you may be surprised what they want at the plate. A lot of unorthodox, quote-unquote, hot zones when you're a hitter.
For me, and again, I can't describe myself as a hitter. I was a walker when I got up and I hit when I was playing kid pitch and so on, as I probably stopped playing baseball when I was probably about 12 or 13 years old. I liked it hide outside because I felt like I could turn around on it as a lefty. And first pitch swinging is a ground ball to the first baseman, but it will roll foul. Shepard couldn't get there in time. And so one thing when you play at home is you learn the little bumps in the grass in a way. It's just that you never know. It's when you're a road player, you never know that maybe halfway down that there's just a little bit of grass that kicks off to the left or kicks off to the right, and each field is a little different. And again, Hawkins gets that one past Ben Banks, who is the catcher. And he's ahead in the count here at 0 balls and 2 strikes. Banks reached on a fielder's choice in his first at bat. He grounded one back to Hawkins. And Hawkins immediately threw on to first to get that first out of the inning. So the 0-2 pitch, Hawkins quickly working. And there's a ground ball right back to Hawkins, a diving play, and he'll throw across the diamond. And 2 quick outs for Grayson County. And exactly what we were talking about. Hawkins needed to get through this one quick. Let's see if he can't get a quick out here to Trace Hardesty, the pitcher for the Green Wave. He grounded out to the shortstop in his first at bat. So 2 down. Hawkins has thrown 9 pitches in this inning. We said get through in 10 or less. He won't get it there as there's a pitch that just misses on the inside corner. It seems like that had been the sweet zone of where our home plate umpire had been calling strikes. That one seemed like, though, it was a little bit too far inside. And also the batter kind of flailed out of the way too, and sometimes that can help or hurt a batter.
Yeah.
Depends on the umpire. Sometimes if you flail too much and it's close, they're going to call a strike or they'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
I'm certainly no professional umpire, but I know if a batter is jumping out of the box, that strike zone goes right with him. It expands with the batter.
The 2-0 is fouled off behind the plate. Our count will move to 2 balls and 1 strike. I think this is such an important inning to make sure that you don't have any more runs that'll cross the plate. The 2-1 is a ground ball to the first baseman, Shepard. He'll take it himself, and 1-2-3. It takes Hawkins 13 pitches to get through the inning, and through 3.5, it's 3-1. Cougs trails. This is Cougar Baseball. Okay. We head to the bottom of 4. Grayson County trails 3-1. Big opportunity, though, coming up in this one is you got 3, 4, 5 in your order. Camden Brothers, Dane Hawkins, and Caden Woodcock will come in to hit here for Grayson County. Brothers today, 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field this season. He's had the most, I guess, extra base hits on the team when you look at it. He's hitting .250 with 3 doubles, 2 RBIs. So he does have some speed and does have a little bit of pop in there. First pitch swinging, it's popped up to the right side. The second baseman, Dawson, is under, falls down and makes the catch. As he rolled down, I think his momentum carried him back, and first pitch is an out for Grayson County. And it'll now turn to Dane Hawkins, and Hawkins, the one batter we missed as far as our video coverage here tonight, and it was the loudest at bat so far today. It was just a fly ball off the wall and straight away center field. As the center fielder, Heiner, scoots back a little bit as he gets ready for this one. So the outfield is playing Hawkins pretty much straight away. And the first pitch is high for ball 1. When you look at the infield, shortstop is playing back a little bit. But really the third baseman is hugging that line a little bit. So you've got a big hole on the left side if you want to take that if you're Hawkins.
Third baseman's playing in front of the third base bag, which is certainly interesting with your cleanup batter up. You can't be expecting a bunt. Normally, you want to play straight up with the bag. And so that's quite an interesting take.
And he scoots in and out and on the grass as he does. And 3 balls and no strikes. And I guess I can see, is Danny Clark a fan of the green light on 3-0 or no?
Absolutely not. Unless you're batting .650, Dane is not swinging here.
He shows bunt here and pulls away. And 4-pitch walk to Dane Hawkins. And Caden Woodcock now will step in for Grayson County. Woodcock today, 0 for 1, struck out swinging in his first at bat. And we're going to have a courtesy runner in for Hawkins, as the courtesy runner will be Keaton Hodges for Grayson County. Hodges is also expected to be one of the running backs for the Grayson County football team potentially next season, so he does have some speed. And I think, is this one of these situations here where you're down 3-1, your offense is struggling, do you automatically put this runner in motion?
I think right here Danny is waiting to see what this first pitch is going to be. If I had to guess, that call right there was probably a dummy. I don't see him moving yet. But if King can get ahead of the count here, and he does not.
There's a swing and a miss on a pitch high and inside. That would have been ball 1.
Yep.
Hardesty coming out in this inning, not throwing strikes a lot. In fact, the catcher, Banks, is going to go out and have a quick conversation. I think he's pretty much talking, you've thrown 5 straight balls. I know only 4 were called, but it's this, and now Danny Clark's also talking to Caden Woodcock. I'm sure you've had the same conversation. What's Coach Clark saying in this situation?
Danny's probably just told him what you just said. He's thrown 5 straight balls, don't help him. And Danny would love to put a hit and run on here, but you want to be ahead in the count before you put a hit and run on.
So the 0-1 pitch coming here to Caden Woodcock, the 40th pitch of the game for Hardesty. He checks the runner Hodges at first, comes to a set and fires, and it's pitch in the dirt. And it's a nice stop by the catcher, Banks. And
you could possibly see the runner in motion here.
At 1-1.
It's possible. You got to get something going if you're the Cougar offense here. It's been non-existent for most of the night.
Hodges has about a 3-step lead. He is off and running, swing and a miss by Woodcock. Throw down to second, and he is out by about 3 steps. Good throw by the catcher, Banks. And Hodges is caught stealing for Grayson County.
Wasn't a great jump, but at the same time, that was a hit and run there. Caden was swinging no matter what, and your job as the hitter is to put the bat on the ball to protect the runner, and Caden just couldn't do it. He could not find the ball.
The 1-2 pitch coming here to Woodcock is inside, and that'll make our count move to 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a tough way for this inning to go, is when you look like you were going to potentially have a runner in scoring position, and now you got no one on with 2 outs, especially with Hardesty struggling to throw strikes in this inning. And Woodcock will swing over top of that one, and that is that. Through 4 innings, it's Meade County 3, Grayson County 1. This is Cougar Baseball on K105. back here to Donley Field as Grayson County and Meade County are in this one as it is a 3-1 game. And leading off for the Green Wave will be the 9-hole hitter, Brady Knott. Not tonight. Walked in his only at-bat, and that was a leadoff walk that he ended up coming around to score in that inning, and that's the last thing you need to happen here if you're Dane Hawkins. You need to come right at him and keep this at a 3-1 game with your offense struggling. Not first pitch swinging, fouls the ball off behind the plate.
Dane has to keep pounding the zone here until Meade County proves they can hit off of them. I think they have one hit that's squeaked by an infielder.
Correct. You've had 2 hits in this entire game.
Yeah.
One was by Hawkins off the wall in straightaway center field. The 0-1 is inside and gets past the catcher McCready, and our count will move to 1-1 strike. As your one hit for Meade County in this game, so I'm going to have to go back here and find this, was a single into left field that scored a runner. So that almost could have been caught by the left fielder brothers. Pitch low and inside, called a ball, and Hawkins falls behind in the count here at 2-1 strike.
We know this Meade County team can hit, but until they prove they can hit Dane, you have to get the ball in the strike zone.
The 2-1. Called strike. It is called strike. A late call by the umpire is, I thought that I was going to ask, how did that one miss? It was a nice sweeping breaking ball on that outside corner. The break-even pitch coming from the senior Dane Hawkins is inside, and did it hit him? It did. And that is not how you want a pitch to go when it's 2-2. And
No.
Hawkins is coming down to talk to the umpire. I think, no, he's wanting a new baseball.
And that was not a bad pitch, but it just got away from him a little bit. If I had to guess, it was probably a cutter that just
Didn't break enough.
Didn't cut quite enough.
Didn't break enough. If that breaks just a little bit more, then probably strike 3.
And that's the thing here, though. For Dane to become a pitcher, he has to realize he's got 2 strikes on the 9-hole hitter. You got to throw a strike. You just got to get him out.
Dylan Abel, the leadoff man, steps in for the Green Wave. He has walked in both appearances. Hawkins today, walks have been an issue for him. He's had 3 walks in the game and off and running, and he is in by 3 steps. Knott gets in easily on that one, and it was a called strike.
And that's another good throw from McCready, but Dane doesn't have any sort of quick pitch or quick to the plate, so McCready really doesn't have a chance of throwing anybody out at this point.
And again, this is almost an identical situation to what we were in just 2 innings ago, where the Green Wave ended up scoring 2 runs. Abel watches a pitch low and outside, and our count moves to 1-1 strike. And I mean, Hawkins here, he's at 77 pitches, so the next one will be 78. So Danny Clark's probably looking up and down and saying, this is going to be a game where I might almost have to go to my bullpen. And that's been an issue for Grayson County in this one, as Hawkins throws one to the backstop, and the runner will advance to third base. In fact, that one bounced off the backstop and rolled all the way up the first base line. And falling behind here at 2-1 strike, and a wild pitch moves the runner over to third base. Abel again has reached base in both appearances, both via the free pass. And that one goes high and outside, and seems like Dane Hawkins doesn't really want to pitch much to Dylan Abel.
I'll be honest here, I'm pretty shocked to see the infield playing back, because one more run honestly could put this game out of reach. You want to cut this run off.
Pitch outside, gets to the backstop, but this one luckily bounces right back to McCready, so the runner not has to stay. But that is another walk. Dylan Abel, 3 walks in this game, and are we going to have a pitching change here? I'm not sure what we're going to have, as Danny Clark is calling Dane Hawkins over, and
bring the infield in.
He's bringing the entire infield in, and what's the conversation here?
First of all, he's probably aggravated, obviously, and he's going to try to calm his infield down. And at the same time, you got first and third here. I think he's probably going to try to implement maybe a cross play with the shortstop or the second baseman, because the runner on first will probably be on the move here no matter what. So we'll be interested to see how the Cougars handle that.
Looking down, it doesn't appear that we have anybody up in, I guess, what you could call the Grayson County bullpen, but I'm not sure who Danny Clark would look to in the situation that he would want to make a pitching change in this game.
I'm not really sure, because
you have 3 or 4 starters, but you really don't have a solidified bullpen this year. It's Dane, a couple starters, and that's about it.
Dane Hawkins at 80 pitches, and it'll be Kaiser Burnett to step in for the Green Wave. He is the one hit of the game for the Green Wave. The runner Abel is off. They're showing bunt, and it's a beauty. Right back to Hawkins. He's going to chase the runner back to third, and he is safe.
He stepped off.
He is safe at third base, and we are going to have a base hit there and a bunt single.
And that was certainly an interesting choice by Dane to throw to third, because he already had the runner retreating back to the bag. He probably should have turned and got the for sure out, but it looked there when Eli applied the tag, it looked like the runner came all the way off the bag. But
the umpire, Sean Williams, was closer. So bases loaded, nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. And the first pitch to Trevor Goodwin, the cleanup, or he's not the cleanup man, but he's their big bopper. He's been held quiet today. Grounded out to the shortstop and grounded out to the second baseman. And there's a pitch, just misses on the outside. I think right now this is a terrifying situation if you're Grayson County when you look at Trevor Goodwin, who is a big-time hitter, and he's 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts. You know that he is looking to power one, and that's exactly what he does. Fly ball, left center field, looking up, that smacks off the wall. 1 run will score, 2 runs will score. Woodcock picks it up, fires into the plate, and only 2 runners are going to cross the plate, but a double off the wall in left center field gives Meade County a 5-1 lead. As I almost called it right there, as you knew that Goodwin was looking to smack one, and smack one is what he did, as you could hear that smack off the wall pretty much just below the 350 sign out left center field from here.
And that hit was inevitable. If I was a betting man, probably would have put quite a bit on him getting a hold of one there. He had been held hitless all night. Dane can't find the zone. You got to get one in, get a fastball to hit, and damage is done.
Justin Heiner will step in for the Green Wave. And first pitch swinging. He swings over top of the pitch from Hawkins. Again, you've got runners on second and third. Still nobody out here in this 5th inning.
And the infield will come in here to try to cut off the runner on third.
In fact, yeah, the entire infield is standing in on the grass. And another swing and a miss to Heiner. Heiner today struck out looking and reached on an error by Childress. Hawkins looks in for the sign, checks the runner at third. The pitch, swing, and a miss. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to Justin Heiner. He goes down on strikes for the second time today, and the Green Wave will now turn to Charles Asher, the designated hitter. He's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a foul tip out. So he's gone down on strikes twice today as well. And the first pitch blows right past Asher, and it seems like Hawkins is pitching with a little bit of an anger after giving up that double off the left center field wall. And anger for a pitcher can either be a really good thing or a really bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pitch inside, and that's where it can be a bad thing as he hits him off the ribs. And the bases are loaded one more time now with 1 out. And, I mean, this is one of these things here, if you think about it, this can be a good thing. Because now you have a force play at any plate, and now you have the opportunity to get a ground ball double play, and you're out of the inning.
You do. And looks like Danny's probably going to keep his middle infield in, because I'm not sure that he trusts him to turn a double play here.
Dalton Wiles is the batter. And he swings over top of the first pitch.
I think you have to, even if the ball's hit up the middle, I think you have to come home with the ball to try to get the runner out, because I'm not sure this middle infield is experienced enough to turn a quick double play.
Wiles today is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and has reached on an error. And fly ball to right field. Miller is in on his horse, and he makes a diving play. No, it drops. 1 run will score. 2 runs are going to cross the plate as Miller at the last second will fire a play into Shepard, and there's a base hit into right field, and Meade County leads this one 7-1. Tough play for Mason Miller as he was playing deep in right field. He had to come in on his horse, and 2 runs will cross the plate for the Green Wave in this inning. As it will now go to the catcher, Ben Banks. Banks is 0 for 2 today, grounded out to the pitcher, and reached on a fielder's choice to the pitcher, so he's grounded out both times to Hawkins in this inning. This inning began all the way back on a hit by pitch to lead the inning.
Lead off runners. They hurt.
Pitch high and inside, bounces out of the glove of McCready. but the runner, Asher, will stay at second base. Anytime that a leadoff walk gets on, bad things will happen if you're Grayson County.
And that's just baseball right there.
7-1 Green Wave. They've scored 4 runners in this inning. Pitch inside gets off of the glove of McCready, and the runners will advance to second and third. And Hawkins has fallen behind in the count here at 2 balls and no strikes, and Danny Clark is making his way out to the mound. And will this be it for Hawkins?
I have to imagine so. He doesn't have his zone, and it doesn't really look like Chandler's being able to handle him too well back there. Because that's not a wild pitch. That's a pass ball right there. And now you have 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out. 6 runs looks like an absolute mountain right now for the struggling offense. And 1 or 2 more might quite be Mount Everest.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. And it doesn't seem like Danny Clark is making a move to the bullpen here.
There he goes.
And now he will, and who will be the man to come in? Looks like Owen Bratcher will come in, as leaving the game for Grayson County will be Eli Watson. We'll introduce you to Owen Bratcher coming up as we'll take a break. As it's 7-1, Cougs trail. This is Cougar Baseball on K1. Owen Bratcher comes into pitch here for Grayson County, as the Cougar right-hander is one thing with Owen. He's got a lot of height on the mound, and when you have a pitcher that's tall, Briley, you've gone up against him. Height is tougher to see because that ball just comes just ever so closer to you.
Right. And Owen's arm angle, he comes right over the top, so if he could pick up a little bit of velocity, that's really hard to see on that downward action on the fastball. You
think of some of these pitchers. I think of the Reds had Sean Marshall, a lefty who is, I think, about 6'8".
It's a deep cut.
It's tough. It's tough to pick up. And the righty here in the middle of the at-bat, it's 2 balls and no strikes. Meade County's batter is Ben Banks.
And this is an absolutely tough ask for Owen, but he's got to come in and throw strikes.
So runners on second and third. 4 runners have already crossed the plate here in the top half of this inning. Pitch, swing, and a miss. Nice start there for Bratcher.
And another thing for this Meade County team is this is a solid 6-8 mile per hour difference in fastballs here.
Not quite as fast as Hawkins.
No, you're gonna have to adjust.
Different height. And swing and a miss. Again, you're seeing that they're ahead.
Yep.
On Bratcher here.
And if Owen can pound that outer half of the strike zone, I think we'll have a pretty fun time out there because they're way out in front of the ball.
The break-even pitch coming here. Big pitch here to the catcher, Ben Banks. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down here in the top of the 5th. And there's a fly ball, left center field. Brothers on his horse, looks up. That one is gone. Left center field, a 3-run home run on the 2-2 pitch, and Meade County has taken a 10-0 lead.
Just as I said, he keeps it on the outer half. It'll be a pretty fun time, but he let one slip in there, and there was no doubt about that one.
Oh, it was a no-doubter over the left center field wall, right above kind of that 350 sign, and it is 10-1 Meade County. They've scored 6 runs here at the top of the 5th inning. We'll now turn to Trace Hardesty, the pitcher, 0 for 2 today. And that ends the line here today on Dane Hawkins. 4 1/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 9 runs, 8 earned, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 3 hit by batters. Probably a day for Hawkins to forget. And the first pitch is ball 1.
That's one thing this team has to do. They go up against McLean, I believe, tomorrow.
Correct. They will host McLean County tomorrow evening. Grayson County will.
That's a very winnable game.
So there's a pitch low. I would presume, is Grayson County throwing Mason Miller then tomorrow? Or has there been an official starting pitcher?
I'm not sure if their quote-unquote number 2 would be Camden Brothers or Mason Miller. It's going to be one of those two, I have to assume.
In a battle of the Cougars. As there's a ground ball to the right side. Childress takes the high hop and throws across. And there is the second out of this top of the 5th inning.
This team has to have a really short memory because if they want to turn the season around, it probably starts tomorrow.
This is one of these things, too, here. Is you look up at the scoreboard, 10-1. 9-run deficits, comebacks don't happen all the time. But when you think about it, getting 3 runs here can be huge. You know, when you get into this 5th, potentially 6th, 7th inning, just getting 3 runs can be a huge momentum, huge confidence builder as there's a cold strike on the outside corner. Heck, even getting 1 just puts you in the mentality of, yes, we can score against a good team.
Meade County is a good team, and they played a really good baseball for 4 innings.
Swing and a miss there to Brady Knott. Knott led off this inning after being hit by a pitch. So again, it was a hit by pitch and a walk is how we started in this inning. And then it was a bunt single that loaded the bases up with nobody out. And, I mean, when you have the bases loaded with nobody out with really a ball not leaving – in fact, there was not really a ball that didn't leave the infield. There wasn't a ball that left the infield.
No.
That's just a recipe for disaster.
It is.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning. It's 10-1. Grayson County trailing Meade County. Bradshaw gets a swing and a miss, and that ends the inning. 7 runners cross the plate. And through 4 1/2, it's Meade 10, Grayson 1. It's Cougar Baseball on K1. Mason Miller will lead off for Grayson County, looking to come back in this one. And, I mean, if you're Grayson, like we had mentioned, you find yourself at a 9-run deficit. You just need 1 or 2 runs here just to try and get your confidence before, as you mentioned, Bradley, a very winnable game tomorrow against McLean County. As that game tomorrow for Grayson County here at Donley Field is going to be a 5:30 start time. And then you've got, I mean, winning 1 game just to get that monkey off the back. We talked about it in the open, going back to, was it the 2018 season, where this Grayson County team started 0-5, started 1-8 technically. That 1 win, though, can just start into a roller coaster.
17. I think we started 2-14.
There's a ground ball by Mason Miller to the shortstop Burnett. He'll throw across the diamond and get Miller by one step. And there's the first out of this inning. It's tough, and there's no doubt about it. And it's tough for a team that, when you think about it, I know we talked with Ted Hill, the Grayson County Lady Cougar basketball coach, before this, as Owen Bratcher comes in for his first at bat today. Bratcher this season has really not had many plate appearances. I'm not sure that he's had really many at all. As the first pitch to Bratcher is low for ball one. We talked with Ted Hill as the Lady Cougar basketball team started off 0-4, I think is what they did. And ironically enough, they were playing Meade County, and they won that game by a final score of 48-40. And it was kind of that monkey because they ended up ripping off 9 out of 10. We kind of said that is that just so much as a mental thing as much of it is talent. I mean, it's just when you go in thinking you're going to win compared to thinking you're going to lose, it's a major difference in a game. As here comes the 1-1 strike pitch from Trace Hardesty. He's been very efficient in this game as Bratcher fouls one off. In fact, his next pitch will only be his 48th here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
That's efficiency right there.
A mix of efficiency and Grayson County being aggressive early in the count, not really doing much with it.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Owen Bratcher. The wind in the pitch is a called strike 3. The bender gets in there, and Bratcher goes down on strikes, and Grayson County is going to turn to Ethan Snyder. Snyder 0 for 1 with a ground out to shortstop here today.
And this Cougar baseball team, they don't have experience, for one thing. They have maybe a year and a half combined varsity experience.
And Snyder, first pitch swinging hardest. He comes off the mound to get it, and he'll throw across the diamond, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. Takes Grayson County only 6 pitches to get through this inning. Through 5, it's Meade 10, Grayson 1. It's Cougar baseball. For his first full inning of work. I think this has been one of these things where for Grayson, almost keeping this from being a run rule is a little bit of a win. Meade County has all of the momentum in the world in this one. Not allowing them to get this 11th run and put us in a run rule situation is probably a win if you're Grayson County. They've got, in the last inning they scored 7. They've scored every other inning. First inning they scored 1. Third inning they scored 2. In the 7th they scored 7. Owen Bratcher against Dylan Abel today against Dane Hawkins. 3 walks. And the pitch from Bratcher is outside for ball 1.
And the worst part of a game like this is there's really not a whole lot of positivity to take out of it. Dane threw 3 good innings, but you can't call it a good outing when you end up giving up 8 earned runs.
As there's a pitch in the dirt and falls behind your 2 balls and no strikes. The one positive to the game was Dane Hawkins' hit
Yeah.
off the base of the wall.
He ripped one, but normally in a game like this, you have an infielder make a really good play or a guy have 2 or 3 hits, and
There's a swing and a foul tip by Dylan Abel, and our count moves to 2 ball and 1 strike.
and I'm sure the post-game meeting with Coach Clark isn't going to be a pretty one, and I'm not sure what you say if you're Coach Clark after a game like this.
We play again tomorrow.
Yep.
That's probably what I would say. I mean, what can you say? I mean,
Yeah.
you will now move, barring a miraculous comeback, you moved 0-7. I mean, we don't need to keep diving into it on the facts around it. Because, I mean, we don't want to be just to turn this into pure negativity, as Dylan Abel walks for the 4th time tonight. And it'll be Kaiser Burnett to step in. He's 2 for 3. He had a bunt single to left, and struck out looking. Meade County in this game has 5 hits, and Burnett has 2 of them. And, I mean, we don't want to turn this into just us sounding like we're up here being negative.
Mm-hmm.
It's just taking little things. In a way, it's kind of like when you're struggling, you almost have to take this as Abel looked like he was going to steal it first, but hold it, kind of stopped about halfway, as that pitch to Bratcher was.
I believe it was outside.
I think he did call it a ball. As our umpire isn't necessarily quick to give us in the press box a 1-0 count or something along the lines of that. He's just hoping that we saw him the first time. There's a called strike, and that'll make our count here move to 1 ball and 1 strike. In fact, as I'm looking right now to see if he'll give us a 1-1, just to make sure that it is 1-1. I'm sure that if it was wrong, he would have let us know by now. So here comes the 1-1. The runner Abel is at first. Bratcher's pitch is called strike at the knees. But I think the best way to describe this in a way is when you're struggling is, it sounds silly, but it almost needs to be like you're building some Legos. And you just need to take piece and piece and put one piece in at a time. Next thing you know, you have something put together.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need somebody to come through and rip it all down. There's a little chopper to the right side of the infield. Childress hustles over, and he is going to have the play at first. Just in time. It seemed like he had a little bit of trouble getting that out of his glove at first, but does get the out at first. Runner Abel does move on to second base. But it's kind of one of those things that you just want to build one piece at a time. And like we talked about in the Open, when you look at this season, you're going to be playing, give or take, 30 regular season games.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little more than that. Is Danny Clark's going to make his way out to the mound? Are we going to have another pitching change? Or
Looks like it.
as Owen Bratcher has thrown 19 pitches in this one, so I'm not sure if he'll pull him from the game to make sure. I know that there's rules. In fact, I have it in here on the amount of days that you have to miss and so on.
But anything under 20, I think you can come back the next day.
As looking at it, 1 to 25, you can come back the next day. 26 to 50, you have to take 1 day off. 51 to 75, you have to take 2 days off, and 76 or more. Jackson Higdon is going to come in and pitch for Grayson County, as this will be his varsity debut.
Grayson County Cougars debut.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
As Higdon, of course, Jackson Higdon coming into the game, I can't not mention the moment that will go down in Grayson County history for back on February the 1st of 2019. The game-winning shot, the game-winning 3 against Edmondson County in boys basketball. We'll talk about that coming up in just a moment as Grayson County going call to the bullpen. We'll hear from Jackson Higdon coming up. This is Grayson County Cougar Baseball on K1. Jackson Higdon into pitch here for Grayson County. The lefty on lefty is Trevor Goodwin. Goodwin in his last at bat doubled off the left center field wall. Higdon's first pitch is a pop fly behind the plate, and looks like we might have had a potential for a car hit. As I always tell the story, is the minor league baseball team by where I grew up in northern Kentucky. They're now the Florence Yalls, but the Florence Freedom, they had an ad for a local glass company. And every time it'd be a foul ball into the parking lot, they'd have a sound effect of crashing glass. As Higdon gets a pitch in the dirt, it'll make our count move to 1 ball and 1 strike. And you would hear, if it breaks or cracks, call Jacks, would be the sign with the broken glass. And it would always, everyone would always be like, ah, ha, ha, ha. So every time I think of a foul ball that goes into the parking lot, I immediately think back to that. As Goodwin flies one to straightaway center field, Woodcock coming in and makes the catch. As Woodcock was playing back on the warning track and came straight in to make that play for the second out of the inning. I'll now turn to Justin Heiner, the center fielder. He is 0 for 3 today. He struck out twice and reached on an error.
That's got to feel good for Woodcock out there after a real rough day at the plate to make a tough running catch. Boost your spirits a little bit.
Because the outfield is playing very deep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Woodcock is a couple of steps from the wall, it seems like. First pitch swinging, ground ball to Snyder. Snyder will throw across the diamond, and Jackson Higdon throws only 4 pitches and gets 2 outs. And through 5.5, it's 10-1. Grayson County trails this one. This is Grayson County Cougar baseball. Leading off for Grayson County will be Cody Shepard. He's 0 for 1 today. He popped out to the shortstop in his first at bat. Cougs trail 10-1. It's that 7-run top of the 5th inning that has been the difference in this one. Is Hardesty is in, and another pop fly. First pitch swinging by Shepard, and another one in the infield. And third baseman Wiles will come in. 1 pitch, 1 out. And that has been a story of this game for Grayson County. Is for Trace Hardesty, the pitcher, that is only the 50th pitch he's thrown in this game, and we are in the bottom of the 6th inning.
It's unbelievable.
When you look at hit by inning, Hardesty in this one, 10 pitches in the first, 16 in the second, 7 in the third, 10 in the fourth, 6 in the last inning. Chandler McCready watches the first pitch, and honestly, as it's a strike, cold strike to McCready, it's probably one of these things that you just want to watch a pitch. Get this guy's pitch count up, make him work a little bit. The most pitches he's thrown in an inning is 13. It's the inning Grayson County scored their 1 run. As McCready pops one to the shortstop. It takes a weird hop on the infield, and the throw across the diamond is in time to get McCready in. Like clockwork, 3 pitches to get 2 outs for Trace Hardesty, and it'll be Gavin Childress to toe in for Grayson County. He struck out and grounded out to the second baseman. The pitch is outside for ball 1. I mean, in some instances, Hardesty really even broken a sweat.
And for this team to find success at some point this year, they're going to have to learn how to work a pitcher, learn how to force hard contact.
Quality at bats. There's a pitch high.
Yep, it's actually a statistic we have here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the team has 30% quality at bats, and I have to say they probably don't have any this game.
Looking at a quality bat statistically, how that is described is when you have any one of 3 pitches after 2 strikes, 6+ pitch at bats, an extra base hit, a hit by pitch, a walk, a sac bunt, or a sac fly.
Okay.
That's what you call a quality at bat is the definition. Grayson County tonight, there's a cold strike
Maybe a
on
couple,
3-0
man.
pitch, has 1.
Oh, wow.
Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong stat here. So let's see how many quality at bats. So I'll try to pull it up here for Grayson County. In this game, quality at bats, as I'm putting myself on, has 3. And there's a called strike here. In fact, we're going to have the 4th here for Gavin Childress on this one. Is Dane Hawkins has 2, and Gavin Childress already has 1 quality at bat, and this will be his 2nd of the game. The 3-2 pitch. Childress flies one into right field. Mott goes under and makes the catch. And through 6 innings, it's 10-1. Grayson County trails. This is Cougar baseball. K105. Welcome back to Down Lane Field. Grayson County trails this one 10-1. Jackson Aiken on for his first full inning of work as we can close the book on Owen Bradshaw. Pitched 1 full inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. As the 1 hit he gave up was a moonshot to left center field by the catcher, Ben Banks. And leading off for the Green Wave will be Charles Asher. He's 0 for 2. He struck out twice and was hit by a pitch. Higdon is a lefty, so you're going to have a lefty on left. In fact, no, we're not. We're going to have a pinch hitter in here for Meade County. This pinch hitter will be the senior Brady Dawson. So lefty on lefty. It's interesting that you pinch hit a lefty to go up against a lefty. Unless they're just wanting Dawson to get some at-bats against a good lefty. So the first pitch is a called strike. In fact, are they batting out of order here? Not sure. Oh, Dawson is the designated hitter that is now coming in. Is the designated player that is now coming in to hit. I'm having to get my lineup in here. So Asher, the designated hitter, checks out of the game, and Dawson is in, as it was a called strike and a ball were the first 2 pitches to him. We got it right now. He'll pop one off to the right side. Higdon, the pitcher, charges in and almost makes the catch, but it goes foul. As the hat goes flying off, and it's one of those things, as we talked about Jackson, he's not played since 8th grade.
And that inexperience is going to show a little bit there because infield fly balls, pitcher does not leave the mound. That is Cody Shepard's ball 8 days a week. So unfortunately, that inexperience shows a little bit there, and that's what happens.
And I mean, and in a way, that's not necessarily all his fault. That's just one of those things. Is there's a called strike on the inside corner, and Higdon gets the strikeout, getting the batter looking. It'll turn down to Dalton Wiles. And I don't know how much you put blame on Jackson Higdon in that situation with him not playing in 4 years. As I'm sure that'll be one of those things that when he gets back to the dugout, Danny Clark will pull him aside and say, "Hey, stay on the mat."
That's nothing to fuss at him at. Absolutely, you gotta
he almost made the play.
You gotta like the hustle.
Oh,
but that's
100%.
that's that teaching moment.
Dalton Wiles, and he's 1 for 2, and the first pitch is inside for ball 1. Wiles today, is a called strike.
Yep, that inside
pitch.
Zone is still getting called.
He's called it. He struck out once and singled to right field today. Higdon efficient throwing the ball today. And there's a fly ball straight away center field. Woodcock coming in. In fact, it's going to go over a little bit to the right field side, and Woodcock will be under and make the play.
I tell you what, no pitching performance is going to go unnoticed. If you you can't be shocked if you see Higdon come in relief at any other point this year at this point.
And you made the point saying earlier on today that Grayson County struggles. They don't have much of a bullpen.
No.
They've got starters, and if a player comes in, and I don't think that's Ben Banks. I think we have a new hitter into the game. Let's try to see if we can't bring you that number, as there's a sweeping pitch on the outside, as it is number 17. I don't have a number 17 on my roster. In fact, we'll try to see here, number 17, Noah Campbell. Luckily, I had the official lineup card up here with us.
As far as velocity and pitches go, it doesn't look like Higdon is that much different than Owen Bratcher, but you bring in someone throwing from the other side of the mound, and then probably a foot difference.
3 straight balls, though, to the hitter, Noah Campbell.
That can mess with a hitter's head. Bringing in Higdon after a Owen Bratcher start could be a plan for Danny moving forward.
And there's a pitch high and a 4-pitch walk to Campbell. And that'll bring up, will it be Trace Hardesty? It will be. So Hardesty looks like he's going to go for the complete game on this one. And again, like we said, no real surprise because he's thrown only 58 pitches in this game.
You have to imagine he's going to finish this game with probably less than 70 pitches thrown.
Barring a rally by Grayson County.
Right.
Yeah, first pitch called strike on the outside corner.
I think they would call that in the pros a nice little Maddox on the mound.
Jackson Higdon and Greg Maddox. I like the combination there. Tell you what, if he can be an eighth of the pitcher Greg Maddox was, I'm sure Danny Clark would do flips down the first base line.
Probably a 64th.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? So there's a swing and a miss, and Higdon's heading the count here at 0-2 strikes. And Greg Maddox is, as they always said, they could say that he had to throw into an oyster cracker, and he could probably hit it inside the box. There's a pitch low and inside for ball 1.
Pretty well known for, being very efficient, just like pitcher here from Meade County has been tonight.
And efficiency is a huge thing in a game. So 1-2 strike pitch. Higdon trying to get out of this inning, and it's a foul tip. That just dies kind of there right in front of the plate. It's a foul ball. Higdon in this game, 18 pitches.
The full inning pitched already.
Yes, and
inning and a third, I think. 61%
for a strike, and if you theoretically take out the 4-pitch walk that he just dealt, he's been very efficient throwing strikes. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Higdon gets the strikeout. And we head to the bottom of the 7th. Grayson County needs 9 runs. Can they make the comeback? We'll find out. This is Cougar Baseball. K105. Grayson County trails us with 10-1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. And like we mentioned, you've got a game against McLean County tomorrow night. A winnable game tomorrow night against McLean County. It's one of these things that momentum can be a big thing moving forward. If you can put together, even if you don't score a run, if you just threaten and put together a couple of good hits with 3, 4, and 5 coming up in this order, it'd be big moving into tomorrow night.
I've seen crazier things happen on the baseball field.
Especially with a 9-run deficit. Right?
I've been a part of one.
Camden Brothers leads off for Grayson County, and a first pitch is a called strike to Brothers Hardesty tonight. Very, very efficient. When you look at McLean County, as I look at their right now, they're 2-4. They're playing Webster County tonight as the pitch bounces in the dirt. 1-1 as their wins this year: Warren Central and Russellville. They've lost to Hancock County, Harrison County, Crittenden County, and Warren East. Playing Harrison County, that's an interesting game for McLean County. Riley, do you even know where Harrison County is?
You give me a map, give me about 80 tries, I might be able to find it.
Harrison County's north of Lexington. And me being from Northern Kentucky is the only reason I can tell you, because I've been to their high school multiple times. Cynthiana is pitched low and outside. And see, ironically enough, and again, this is just me being a Northern Kentuckian, Harrison County High School is very similar to McLean County High School, and you have to want to get there. There's no way to get to McLean County. There's a called strike, and our count goes full here to Camden Brothers. McLean County is kind of the same way as Harrison County is. It's just kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Looking at those McLean County scores, it looks like their 2 wins were certainly not against strong opponents.
And Brothers walks. Looked like a good pitch from Trace Hardesty, but Grayson County gets a runner on base. A leadoff walk for Hardesty. It's only his second walk of the game. And it's now going to go to Dane Hawkins. Hawkins 1 for 1 today. He's walked and doubled off the wall in center field. And an immediate pickoff move for Camden Brothers. Like, is this one of these things where if you're Danny Clark, do you put the runner in motion, or are you just trying to get whatever you can?
You're just trying to see what your offense can do here. If this is a 2-run game, it might be considered, but I'm sure that thought probably hasn't came across Coach Clark's head whatsoever.
There's a pitch outside on the first one to Dane Hawkins. So Hawkins is ahead in the count here at 1 ball and no strikes. I think if you're the Meade County coaching staff here, as Hawkins bloops one off to the right side, it will go out of play as a foul ball. If you're the Meade County head coach, Justin Armbergy, this is probably one of these things that Trace Hardesty right now at 66 pitches. I'm sure that, how much of a leash do you give him? I mean, the last thing, I know you have got a 9-run lead, so you are perfectly fine, but the last thing you want is for a pitcher to lose confidence out there. So there's a called strike, and just when I say that, he's ahead of the county with 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think you give him a pretty long leash here. You let him run as long as he's comfortable. And unless Cougars mount a huge comeback here, I think it's his game to win.
And I mean, tomorrow they play one of the state's best teams as Hawkins grounds one into right field for a base hit. Brothers will stop at second base, and he potentially could have made it to third, but Danny Clark hold up the stop sign for him. So you've got runners on first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. I mean, Meade County tomorrow night will play Louisville Trinity at home, and I think they are one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the state so far this year. And then coming up later on in the week, they will play DuPont Manual on the road, which is another team from Jefferson County that's I would presume probably pretty good. Woodcock's punt straight up into the air. The catcher will make the pitcher Hardesty will make the play. When you're button, it's the last thing you want to do.
And I tell you what Danny Clark is thinking right now with his hands on his head. It's a 9-run game. You got runners on first and second. A bunt shouldn't even come across your mind. What that means, Caden Woodcock has no confidence in himself to get a hit there if he's trying to put down a bunt.
Mason Miller is in, and he foul tips one into the glove. And no balls and 1 strike. You don't think that was a called bunt?
Absolutely not. At this situation in the game, you're trying to see what you can do with the bat. You're trying to poke a few base hits around.
No ball, 1 strike here to Mason Miller, and there's a pitch high and outside, and 1 ball and 1 strike. Again for Mason tonight. He's 0 for 1. He's been hit by a pitch and grounded out to the shortstop. This season, Mason's struggling to hit the ball. He's hitting .067 coming into this game. With 1 run batted in. He can try to get a second one here, and he swings at a pitch over his head. And he's falling behind at the count here at 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the on-deck circle for Grayson County, you've got Jackson Higdon. And he is going to hit for himself. Barring a double play. Miller swings the bat and just stays alive there as he did kind of a check swing that fouls off to the right side and out of play.
This is no disrespect to Jackson Higdon, but in all the things you planned on seeing tonight, him getting an at-bat is probably not one of them.
Especially in the last inning where he came in and he was going to be the 8th man to hit.
Yeah.
The pitch from Hardesty is a swing and a miss. Another pitch way outside that Miller tries to stretch his arms out there and get. And the Cougars are down to their final out, and it will rest on the shoulders of Jackson Higdon. Again, the hero. I guess if you're Danny Clark, you tell him that that's Edmonson County out there on the mound, because he had some big games against Edmonson County in basketball, and not just because of his game winner. And he puts contact in it, fly ball left center field, and it is going to be caught by the shortstop Burnett, and that is the ball game. Meade County wins this one by a final score of 10-1. As we will come back and wrap this up after this. This is Cougar Baseball on K1. Welcome back here to Donley Field, where Grayson County falls tonight by a final score of 10-1 against Meade County. As Cougars are now 0-7 on this season, they're going to host McLean County tomorrow night. And Riley, just for your final thoughts on this one as a whole, how do you take a game like this?
It's hard. There's no way around it. If these players do care about this team, and if they do care about turning the season around, they're not going to sleep much tonight. And I know Coach Clark will not be sleeping tonight. I know him. I've known him for 6 years too long to know he might get 3.5 hours of sleep tonight tops, because he's going to be thinking all night, what can I do to make this team better? What can I say to them to light a fire in them? And it's a tough loss to swallow, but you have to somehow find some positives around it, because if you can't, then it's not going to get much better if you can't.
Last season obviously didn't happen, but you did have the stretch of getting ready, thinking you were going to have a season, and you played your one scrimmage game and so on. You were a senior leader on that team.
Yeah.
Is this one of those things where you look at the seniors that you know well, that you expect them to stand up and say, if anything, you've got the so-called players-only meeting that happens sometimes. Is that something that you almost would call if you were in their shoes as a senior in this situation?
Yeah, I can think of quite a few ways I would be able to handle the situation as a senior, and I feel like I can say this because I know each and every one of those seniors very well, and I'm just not sure how well they're handling it.
It's got to be tough. I mean,
it's got to be really tough
for your entire life to play your senior year of baseball.
And these seniors, they have to learn and they have to grow quick. They have to learn how to step up and be seniors. And I feel like I can say this because I know them, and I just don't think that it's a young season. We're early in the year. I don't think they know how to be seniors yet, because they shouldn't be seniors. They didn't get to play a junior year. They haven't learned how to be seniors yet. And for this season to turn around, they have to grow a little bit and become leaders and guide this young team to some wins.
Grayson County falls tonight by a final score of 10-1 to Meade County. We'll come back, wrap it up and also let you know what's coming up on Thursday. In fact, we're going to be back at the Lady Cougar Softball Complex twice more at the end of the week. As we'll let you know about that and wrap up the game after this. This is Cougar Baseball. Welcome back here to Donley Field. Grayson County falls tonight by a final score of 10-1. So we'll run down the action from this game. Meade County got it started in the top of the first inning after a leadoff walk to Dylan Abel, who ended up reaching base in every single at-bat, all by a walk today. Dane Hawkins got a strikeout looking. There was a ground out, and he had 2 outs in the inning, and it looked like Grayson County was going to get out of it with no damage, but an error by the second baseman, Gavin Childress, allowed Abel to score from third base. The Green Wave had themselves a 1-0 lead. Grayson County got their first offense and their only offense of the night in the bottom of the second inning as Dane Hawkins doubled a ball off the wall in center field. Came around to score on a fielder's choice on a ground out by Eli Watson. Our score was tied at 1-1. It seemed like Grayson County was in business to keep themselves in a game against one of the region's best opponents. The third inning, though, the wheels started to fall off. Leadoff walk, a second walk, and a single allowed 1 run to score, and a ground out scored the third run. Meade County took a 3-1 lead into the third inning as Grayson County had opportunities, but really at the same time didn't, as they ran out of one of them as Keaton Hodges was caught stealing in the bottom of the fourth inning. And then came the top of the fifth, which is where Meade County blew this one wide open. A leadoff hit by pitch, walk, single, and it went double, hit by pitch, single, home run, and you blinked. And Meade County opened this one up to a 10-1 lead. Grayson County threatened in the bottom of the seventh inning, but wasn't able to have any runners cross the plate. They had a leadoff walk and a leadoff single to have runners on first and second, but that is where they stopped from there. Grayson County falls tonight by a final score of 10-1. Running down the stats for this game, the win goes to Trace Hardesty. He finishes with throwing 75 pitches, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Dane Hawkins is saddled with a loss. 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 9 runs, 8 earned, 6 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Owen Bratcher in relief through 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 strikeout, and 1 walk. Jackson Higdon came in and threw the ball very well. 1 2/3 of an inning, 2 strikeouts, and 1 walk for Grayson County. Cougars will be back in action tomorrow evening against McLean County, as our next coverage of Grayson County Cougar baseball will be coming up on next Monday, as the Cougar baseball team will take on Breckenridge County. So that'll be 1 week from today. But we're going to have 2 Lady Cougar softball games coming up on Thursday and Friday. On Thursday, the Lady Cougars will face this Meade County team, as the Lady Waves will make the trip here to Litchfield. So we'll have the coverage of that game beginning at about 4:45. And then on Friday evening, it'll be the second district game of the year for Grayson County, as they will take on Whitesville Trinity here at the Lady Cougar Softball Complex. We'll have the coverage of that game as well. Briley, appreciate you taking the time to join us today, and I'm sure we'll have you on a couple more times throughout the season. And it's one of these games that you almost have to burn the stats and move on.
You gotta leave here knowing you play baseball tomorrow. That's the beauty of baseball. It's not like football. You don't have to wait a week. You don't have to simmer on this for 7 days. You go to sleep tonight, you wake up tomorrow morning, you play again.
That's a good way to put it. And tomorrow, Grayson County going to play McLean County here at Donley Field. We'll be sure to have some updates from that game on our Twitter page, K105 Sports. That wraps up our coverage here tonight from Donley Field. I want to thank the K105 Digital Productions crew today. Cody Brock was your camera operator and technician, running around like crazy today. As he burned probably about 1,500 calories today. Hopefully he can go get himself a chicken sandwich or something after the game, maybe down at the concession stand. He says he burned 2,000. I'm not sure about that. I think he's a little bit crazy when it comes to that. As I want to thank Briley Napier. He was your color analyst and your director for tonight's game. So tonight with the Grayson County Cougars fall 0-7 on the season with a 10-1 loss to Meade County. This is Sam Gormley saying so long, everyone.